I stayed put, looking back at the terrifying house of horrors that made me tremble with fear just by looking at it. I gulped, goosebumps running down my spine. I didn't want anything to do with that haunted house because I knew I was going to embarrass myself in front of Yin if I went there. Though, before I was able to deny her, for the first time ever, I saw a bright light shine within her eyes. I've never seen her so happy before, but because of anything. And I just knew if I said no, then the twinkle in her eyes would fade. And I thought, maybe if I protect Yin, then she'd realize that I, or rather Sun Eater, was cool after all. And how bad could the jump scares possibly be? I've fought in the scariest villains than a mere vampire nor zombie, so I didn't have to worry one bit, right? I knew this was my time to shine, to protect and shield Yin from the scary fake monsters at the haunted house. So I decided to go along with it. Eventually, Mary and Nedre had gone ahead without us on another ride. And once we were both inside, I could barely see anything because of how dark it was. I was guiding us through the passageways to get over it with quicker motives, while Yin walked behind me, but I just hoped to be accompanied. That afternoon turned to be complete opposite. Suddenly, with every crack, our movement, I'd shriek, trying my hardest to hold on my screams to not seem that frightened in front of Yin. But as we deepened into the haunted house, things got worse for me. Monsters would pop out of nowhere, and employees dressed up as ghouls and titans would scare us by throwing their hands at us. I ended up clinging onto Yin's back behind her throughout the entirety of the haunted house. The last straw was when a mummy ran up on us from the shadows covered in blood. I let out the largest scream I had ever exclaimed in my life, and I immediately started shaking afterwards. I gripped Ian's shirt as I rested my hands on her back, looking down at my shivering feet. "Let's go, Ian," I begged. "Please." I felt so ashamed and embarrassed for myself. I couldn't even look up from the floor. I was just like a scared little baby clinging onto their mother. And I could even hear the employees laughing behind my back before we left. How could I face Yin now after she had seen me so scared and heard my terrible shriek? I just wanted to leave and bury myself inside a rabbit hole and never come out. Once we were outside, before I let Yin talk, I spoke up. You probably think I'm a coward if you didn't already. I don't blame you if you do, Yin, I whispered. My anxiety gets the best of me of times, and I closed my eyes, unable to look at Yin anymore. I rubbed my arm with the other hand, trying to comfort myself, but even that didn't calm me. There was a brief pause before Yin spoke, and my anxiety was starting to eat me alive from the inside. My stomach tightened, feeling sicker than by seconds. And that was when she said something I never expected her to say to someone like me. "No, I should be sorry. Tamaki," she apologized. "I should have asked if you wanted to go in, but instead I forced you to go in with me. Haunted houses aren't for everyone." No, I told her. "You don't have to apologize, Yin. I was the one who ruined your childhood memory." Yin shook her head, staring back at the house. "To be honest, that haunted house was lame anyways," she declared. "This place is too crowded on the weekends, too. I don't know why people still come here." My eyes widened, but I knew Yin was only saying that because she was trying to console me. But even so, my anxiety slowly decayed because of Yin's presence alone, and her reassuring words soothed me. I really only came here to see you, Tamaki, she admitted. Or else I wouldn't have come here, really. My heart started pounding rapidly when I heard those words coming out of her lips. Assured. Really, Ian? I inquired. Then what about Mirio? Did you come for him, too? Aren't you two talking? My heartbeat quickened. I desperately needed to know the answer of that question. Yeah, but it's just small talk. Mirio's really nice and fun, but he's not like you, Tamaki. You're a lot easier to talk to. And when Mirio said you were coming along, I knew I had to come. I sighed. Relieved. You think so, Ian? Yeah, besides, those fans cut off our conversation short back then. I wanted to get to know you better, Tamaki. But since you're a pro hero, I figured you'd be really busy most of your free time. I didn't want to be a bother, so... No, you couldn't be. Never, I exclaimed. And I'm sorry I didn't do anything about that. I could have just pushed myself out of their way. I frowned again, slouching as I distracted my look at Yin's feet now. Did I make you feel ignored? Yin took a bit longer to answer, but as always, she knew how to answer. Never mind that now, she replied. It's in the past. We're here now, aren't we? So let's have fun together, Tamaki. There's still time. I slowly looked up to meet her eyes again. They were still shining, maybe even more than before. She smiled softly. Yeah, I repeated. Together. The two of us walked away from that haunted house and walked around the huge Ferris wheel. Finally, I had the chance to ask Yin properly if she wanted to ride it with me, but it was earlier than done. I kept messing up the words, and I just wanted to say because my lips kept quivering, so I just blurted it out, all in one go. Hey, Yin, do you want to go on the Ferris wheel with me? She stopped to look at me silent. I wanted to ask you earlier, but I didn't have the chance to do so. Of course I'd love to, she smirked. What are we waiting for, Tamaki? Come on. Yin grabbed my wrist and pulled me to the short line. It was already evening and the park was about to close, so this was going to be the last ride of the day. As we waited, my body trembled nervously. I started imagining what we were going to do up there now that we were going to be alone, with no people around. I didn't really think about it there, and the thought put my anxiety to the test. But it was too late for me to process everything, because now we were being put inside one of the cabins, and the Ferris wheel turned on one last time before spinning around. I gulped, ready to face my fears and confront Yin. But then, her words she previously said filled my head with doubts. I don't just want to know about Sun Eater. I want to know more about you. And now, after what happened back in the haunted house, I was certain Yin thought Sun Eater was boring and a scaredy cat. All of the confidence I had quickly left my body as I sulked in my seat, unable to build up my strength before I broke apart. I lost any chance I had left to be closer to Yin, and all because of irony. I'm not as awesome and brave as Sun Eater. Yin and I stayed quiet, real quiet. She was looking outside the windows of the capsule while I kept staring down. So Tamaki, she began, what are your plans for the future? Do you like to do anything in particular? I didn't say anything for the longest time and just kept staring at Yin, puzzled. Why do you keep asking me questions like that about my life? Suddenly, Yin's brows raised as if she was confused herself. I want to get to know you, Tamaki. What else could there be? What? But what you said earlier today, you told me you didn't want to know about Sun Eater. I placed my palms over my lap, looking down at them. All everyone wants to talk about is my hero life, my quirk, my abilities. Nobody has ever been interested in me for me. So when you kept asking me stuff that had to do more with what I liked or don't like, I couldn't understand. I gripped both of my hands into a tight ball, closing my eyes shut. I didn't open up right away because I was scared you'd realize that I'm boring underneath all the flashy hero stuff. That's why all I talk about is being a pro hero. That's what everyone seems to care about anyways. All of a sudden, I felt Yin's hand over one of mine, and I quickly raised my head to meet her eyes. They were gentle and comforting, like a bunny's. Her hand was soft and warm, but nothing compared to her kind smile, which was one of the many things about Yin that I was able to calm down my anxiety almost completely. I don't want to know more about Sun Eater. I already know so much about him. I write for the newspaper after all, she exclaimed. The one I really want to get to know now is Tamaki Amajiki. After hearing her say all those genuine words coming out of her mouth, I suddenly felt as if my tummy tied itself in a big knot. I'd always get one if I was feeling extremely anxious, but it was a different type of nervousness that I've never experienced before. After feeling Yin's warm hand against mine, hearing her sweet words and voice, seeing her gleaming eyes and the bright smile all at once made me feel like I had butterflies flying around my stomach. Nobody, not even Muriel, had made me feel so much in a single moment before. And this amazing feeling even made a smile come across my face. A pleasant feeling of both happiness and nervous excitement. It was strange. I had experienced either one of them separately, but not at the same time. The anxiety I go through whenever I talk to Yin wasn't an unpleasant one. I just had the bad case of the butterflies. I smiled, smiling like I've never done before. I'm a journalist. I ask questions. That's what I do. Yin and I both laughed together, and all of my previous insecurities flew away along with my worries. The two of us were so close, our knees touched and our legs intertwined, and I could see that our hands were inches away from meeting. And then I lifted my pinky finger to rest it over Yin's, but before I was able to feel her warmth again, the cabin wobbled with the wind, and until it flipped me over, and I accidentally fell on top of Yin. Still sitting on our seats, I pinned her against the seat, or I'd lose my balance and fell. Our faces were too close to each other while our lips were inches away from colliding. And all I did was gawk at Yin's sparkling eyes as I was trying to understand what had happened, and when I realized the situation I was in, I quickly sat back up straight. Are you all right, Tamaki? You didn't get hurt, right? I immediately felt my face burning so much I thought Yin had felt the heat from how close she was. I even started sweating a bit, tense and agitated. I almost kissed Yin, and the thought only made my state of mind worse. I'm fine, Yin, I forced myself to say. We stayed quiet for a bit, feeling awkward at first, but eventually Yin broke the ice again with a simple question. Well, now that we've cleared the table, let's start with an easy question, she informed me. What do you like, Mr. Amajiki? I have a lot of thoughts, but I already knew what I was going to say from the beginning. Butterflies. I really like them. Butterflies? She repeated. That's really unusual. I've never heard anyone who likes butterflies. I flinched, defeated. Is that weird? Oh God, I knew. I should have said something else. But Yin laughed quietly. I could still hear her. No, it really suits you, Tamaki. You like them too, Yin? I inquired. Yeah, of course. They're really pretty with their colorful wings. I've always admired them. I hesitant, but forced myself to speak because I knew I'd regret it if I didn't. Well, I stammered. I think you're a lot The sound of the cabin door opening interrupted me from finishing, and both Ian and I molted off of the capsule. Soon, Muriel and Nedre found us chatting near the Ferris wheel, seemingly worried about us. Where were you two? We were looking all over for you guys. Hato frowned. You two were in the Ferris wheel, am I right? Togeda winked and nudged my arm. You wanted some alone time together, huh? Muriel laughed loudly while I just looked down embarrassed. Guys, thank you for inviting me here, Yin said as the four of us walked together. I haven't had this much fun in a while. I'm glad you did, Yin-chan, Nejire babbled. Of course. Togeda gave her a thumbs up. Any time. And when Hato and Mirio started a conversation of their own, Yin took the opportunity to pull me aside to talk to me separately. Hey, Tamaki, she whispered. What were you going to say back then in the Ferris wheel? You didn't get to finish. I blinked twice and felt my heart beating faster. I didn't know what to say. I paused thinking. It's just, I think you're a no, what I mean to say, that you're like a butterfly, but not really. What I mean is, Yin laughed and proceeded to pat my head afterwards. I was surprised and my eyes widened because I never thought her touch was so soothing. I even closed my eyes to embrace the light head massage, and when she stopped rubbing my hair against her palm, I kept staring at her like I was wanting more. And, I did. You're pretty. Like a butterfly. And so my empty stomach got filled with nervous butterflies, and again, Yin's face brightened with her smile. Hey guys. So I know I said I was going to post some yesterday. Don't yell at me, guys, please. Don't yell at me. But I was tired, okay? And everyone needs their rest. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'm so sorry technically for the long wait, but I hope you guys enjoyed. Bye, lovelies. Mwah.